live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I am your host, Rich Saile, and today, if you love college football, this is the episode breakdown of Week 1. We have some key games to cover today. All right, we have some key games to cover today. Had to redo the clap. I didn't like the first one. We have a lot. Multiple top 10 matchups happened this past weekend. Bill Belichick got exposed against TCU. And then I have a new bandwagons fan to trigger. And no, it's not the Chiefs bandwagons. You may rejoice for now, but you will get roasted at some point. Anyway, we have a lot to get into. So let's start off with number 1 against number 3. In number 3's building, Texas and Ohio State. I picked Ohio State to lose. I know. I picked Texas to win. It didn't age well. Let's start with Ohio State. I did not think Julian Sain would be insane, but he managed the game. 12 of 20 for 126 yards. He threw the touchdown to Carnell Tate late in the fourth. Or early in the fourth, rather. And that was basically the knockout punch. We'll get to why in a second, but Ohio State, C.J. Donaldson even looked pretty solid because in the short yard situation, he looked pretty good. Came from West Virginia, okay? And then, obviously, Jeremiah Smith, 6 for 43 yards. He really had, I think it was a 16-yard spot route where he just kind of sit in the middle of the zone and then worked upfield. He really didn't break the game open. And that's what Texas kind of held him to in the playoff matchup last year. They were like, you're not going to beat us over the top like he did against Oregon, like he did against Notre Dame. No. You're going to stay right in front of us. And if you beat us that way, that's fine. But give credit to Ohio State. They are in their 5th win in a row against a top 10 team. And I don't like Ohio State because they win every year with Alabama, which, well, I'll save it for Bama. But Ohio State, listen, they deserve to be number 1. New AP poll just came out today. That's fine. That's fine. They could be number 1. They beat number 1 fair and square, even though they didn't wow people. But again, they won. I mean, as much as I don't like them, they got the job done. Their defense really did a good job on Arch Manning. I did not think Matt Patricia would do well against Arch because I thought there were games where he was overrated as New England's defensive coordinator. I thought he was. This was one of the rare games where he actually surprisingly did well. But I don't know if that's easy to say because you have Caleb Downs. You have 3 guys who probably will get drafted in the NFL, maybe in the first round at some point. But considering who they lost, you can't say anything but he did a great job against Arch Manning. You really can't dismiss it any other way. So give Matt Patricia, give Ohio State's defense some credit too. They were the big story as to why they won. And if they play like that, man, they might be better than last year defensively, which is crazy considering all the big names they lost. JT Tuimalu, Jack Sawyer, Tyleik Williams, you name it. I mean, crazy enough that they look better. But it's game 1, so let's not overreact too much. Now to Texas. Oh boy. Before I start, I need to take a drink of water. Because Texas, you're going to make me fucking pissed. Let's start with Arch Manning, because I just got to call this like I see it. I watched this game while I was doing some stuff Saturday into the middle of the afternoon. I did watch the first half at home, and then I had to watch it from the road somewhere briefly. I don't want to bash Arch too much. Did he play well? Obviously not. Was it all on Arch? No, he made mistakes. Mechanics definitely were bad. Let's call it what it is. Mechanics were definitely bad. All right? He did overthrow a lot of people. I thought he missed some easy reads in front of him, especially late in the game where I'm like, Arch, throw the first down. It's right there. How do you not see him there? I think he definitely felt like the moment was big for him. Got too big. I think he looked very frantic. And he definitely overthrew some people. He took some sacks. He kind of was staring too much at first reads, I thought, at times. Waiting, and then got sacked a lot. But considering that there were late glimpses where he did well, but it was just too late. And I feel like, yes, he had accuracy issues. Yes, his mechanics were bad. He didn't really scramble much for a lot of yards. Considering the defense that he was going up against, he didn't live up to expectations. Now, the reason I picked Texas to win was not because I thought Arch Manning was going to go crazy. Now, for people who are going to say, Rich, you bought into the hype. No, the reason I took Texas was this reason. Arch had a little more game experience than Julian Saine. I didn't know what Julian Saine was going to do against Texas's defense. Because we haven't seen Julian Saine play a game. We saw Arch Manning play games, and I was like, all right, if Arch could show a little growth from those little small schools he played, that would be huge in this matchup. Because I thought Sark would set him up better. I'm going to get to you, Sarkisian. I don't know. I'm going to get there. But Arch didn't make that jump. Is it fair to say he's overhyped? No, because I think he'll get better. That Manning name is historic and all that. And I'm not giving him a pass. He didn't play well. Okay? I'm not going to say, oh, he's a bust. Oh, he's overhyped. Oh, he sucks. No. I'm not going to say that yet. Because this was literally the defending national champions. This was. I will say, though, for Paul Feinbaum, who thought Arch Manning was the next great college quarterback with the most hype since Tebow or something like that, that was horrible. That was horrible. I didn't say that, though. Paul Feinbaum said that. But some of the ESPN heads did buy in too much of the Arch hype. They definitely gassed him up. Me, I thought the little experience Arch had would help him give Texas that edge, as long as he just didn't turn it over. Well, he did turn it over. You can't do that. But here's the other angle that I think, honestly, needs to be blamed. Steve Sarkisian. You've been a great play caller over the years. You were a coach at USC, Washington. You were Nick Saban's offensive coordinator when you had a really young Jalen Hurts and you had Tua. And then you go to Texas and you've been reviving them. You've made strides, yes. What in the fuck was that game plan that you set up for Arch Manning? That was the most, and I got to watch my language here. That was a game plan a pussy made. Yeah, that's what scared people do. There was no shots down the field at all. There wasn't. it was just, okay, we'll run and throw underneath the whole game. Where is the big down the field play that you need to make so that way you keep that defense off balance? There was none of that. That was horrible. Now, listen, you have no excuse, Sark. You are one of the most respected offensive minds in college football. That game plan was horrific. It was. It was. And I can't seem to figure out why you wouldn't adjust in the game. I don't know why. You kept basically handcuffs on Arch, and you let him, you were like, no, you can't throw deep. Why not? You're down 7 most of the game. Take a shot downfield. What happened when Julian Saile took a shot to Carnell Tate? He scored. That was a knockout blow in the 4th. You just freaking completely called a horrible game for this kid. That's why I don't blame Arch entirely. I blame Sark for this. Sark should set him up better. You set Quinn Ewers up pretty good last year. Even though Quinn Ewers I thought was limited with his arm last year. But this was bad. This was bad. Like, you didn't even make them, like, scared of a deep play in the game. Nothing. If you did, it was late in the 4th when the game was basically kind of almost settled. Sark, you let him down. You called a horrible game. I know, like, Ohio State's defense is good, and they got dudes like Caleb Downs that's going to be All-Americans and stuff. But just the fact that you're so predictable and you just made it, like, too vanilla, where I'm like, bro, man up and throw a shot downfield once in a while. Arch played bad, yes. But to say all this on him, no. No, he's going to be fine. He's developing. He'll be good. I didn't buy into the hype like the ESPN heads. No way. I thought he would manage the game a little bit with the experience he had. Didn't work. I was wrong on that part. But I didn't vote him for Heisman. I voted somebody else, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But Sark, that was a game plan that like, I can't understand, like, why you were so scared the whole game. You just ran into underneath. I mean, you, like, chickened out. Like, come on, man. Like, Sark, you're one of the most, respected offensive minds. That's the game plan you come up with? Oh, my God. Like, that's bad. That's bad, man. Okay? Yeah, that's bad. Okay? But I will say, Texas is still a good team. But they got to really figure out what's going on. I mean, the receiver room, I know it's not Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, and all those guys. I know. They had Worthy 2 years ago. I know. But somebody's got to make a play for this kid to help him out. Now, they're going to have some games to worry about down the road, but I expect Arch to continue to build from this game. This was welcome to college football, Arch. No more sitting on the bench. You got to be ready to, show that step forward. And I'm confident he will. But this game, put it in the rearview mirror and just look forward, man. You can only go up from here, hopefully. And if not, oof. Then we got a problem. But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good after this. Let's go to Florida State and Alabama. This is one I'm going to be happy for, okay? So, let's go to this game because I actually watched this from the road. And I honestly, I thought Bama would win by 8. And let me say this. My level of bandwagons tier list over the years, and forgive me, I have a hurt shoulder right now, but I'm going to be fine, okay? My level of bandwagon hate list, you already know who's number one. I don't have to say it, all right? I get my man, you know based on who we've had on, okay? But right below them, and it's kind of lowered because of how they've done lately, it was Alabama, it was Ohio State bandwagons. I mean, once upon a time, Eagles fans were up there for a while. They were. But they've lowered because they beat the Chiefs and they crushed them in the Super Bowl. So they've got on my good side a little bit for now. They've lowered, but they're not in the second tier that's like close to hateable. Okay? But Alabama and Ohio State are up there. Actually, Yankees fans are right there too. That's baseball though. Okay? But to see Alabama lose game one, and listen, I'm going to go to Florida State first before I get to Bama because I'm just enjoying all of the stupidity that people are saying about Alabama right now. But let's go to Florida State. Tommy Castellanos called out Bama saying, there's no more Nick Saban to save you. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, you were 2-10 last season. I wouldn't be saying much of this. But a lot of the things where Mike Norvell was confident, he made the right changes, and they brought Gus Malzahn in from Central Florida to be the offensive coordinator, which Gus Malzahn's always had a good offensive mind. He always has. Okay? But Castellanos, 152 yards passing, 78 on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. All right? Mekhi Danzy had a rushing touchdown. I think long run of 32 yards. Sawchuk had a touchdown run. Keziah Holmes had one. Florida State ran 49 times for 230 yards, almost 5 yards a carry, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Think about that for just a second. They ran the ball almost 50 times for 230 yards. Nearly 5 a carry and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Nick Saban would never let that happen in a game. Ever. And I hated Bama when Bama, with Saban was good. I respect him because he's an all-time great coach and all that. I don't hate Nick Saban. I just couldn't stand Bama winning every year. Florida State, let's give them... this program, they were awful. Now, I have my own issue with Florida State fans for them thinking, we should have made the playoff in 23. You would have lost with a third-string quarterback to Michigan anyway that year. You would not have won. Okay? Get over it. You go 2-10 the next season, you got humbled, right? You were high, and then you went all the way low. And you're like, okay, we got to dig ourselves out of the sand hole. And they did it. I could make a very strong argument today. Mike Norvell, this is the biggest win he's ever had in his tenure at Florida State. I can make a strong argument today. Because if you don't beat Bama, it ain't looking great for you. The future don't look bleak at that moment. But because you beat Bama, you got yourselves, on a real good thing going. And honestly, to have you guys in the contending conversation in the ACC, that's a huge step. I think the ACC is going to be very interesting. And it's not involving a team I'm talking later. I watched Georgia Tech Colorado a little bit. Georgia Tech's not going to be bad, man. They're going to be a sneaky good team. Clemson, granted, we're going to talk about them with LSU briefly, okay? Miami, we'll talk about them briefly with their game, all right? Louisville, I think, is going to be a good team. The ACC's got teams. Florida State, you are in that conversation to contend in the ACC. Now it's, okay, what's a realistic goal for this team? 6, 7? Is 8 the ceiling? Could it be 9? Who knows? But Florida State, this was the biggest win of Mike Norvell's tenure, arguably. This was a big, well-deserved win. Happy for Florida State. The lesser two evils, damn right I would take Florida State over Alabama. Non-biased. I was rooting for, I thought Bama was going to win. But I was rooting for Florida State because I want Bama to fall flat on their face, which they did. Okay? But their defense, man, they balled. 3 sacks. They really made Ty Simpson uncomfortable. And that's big. That was huge. Listen. Biggest win for Florida State in a very long time. And boy, did they need that win. Now, to Alabama. I've waited a long, long, long time to get on them. Okay? Say goodbye to the days where everyone feared you. No one's scared of you anymore. That fear factor that Nick Saban brought, that was gone the day he retired. I like Kalen DeBoer as a coach, I do. But he ain't Nick Saban. Felt shit was good, puffing our chests out against Georgia. Oh, he's back, man. You see Kalen DeBoer is going to be good. And then you lose to Vandy, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Michigan unranked, and now this. This is what, your 5th loss or 4th loss as a double-digit favorite to a double-digit underdog? Ouch. That's rough. But you know what? I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. I know. Because you fuckers were spoiled for so long. That's what people say to me about the Patriots. No. I'm throwing it back in Bama fans' faces. I've waited so long for this. I've waited so long for you fucking fans to be humbled. Okay? And you people that are crying for Kalen DeBoer to be fired. Bro, Kalen DeBoer should be fired. This team's so bad. This is unacceptable. We shouldn't be losing to Florida State. Let's dive into this. Because, first off, you think Alabama donors are going to want to pay $70 million to buy him out? Hell no, they're not. On top of paying money for players? No. And then paying more money to go get the replacement? No. Do you remember when Texas A&M had to buy out Jimbo Fisher? That's oil money down there. I don't know if A&M's going to really be able to recoup that investment that they lost on Jimbo Fisher buying him out. Alabama donors ain't paying $70 million to buy out Kalen DeBoer. No way. So, forget that notion. You stuck with him. You're stuck with him. So, get used to it. Okay? Now, to you Bama bandwagons, bro. Welcome back down to the rest of the college football fans that don't live up to expectations. Or struggle to meet up to expectations. Because you're now in that world. You're now in that world. You can hate the hard truth. Well, you got to avoid it for the last 16, 17 years when Saban was there. Last year, you didn't really live up to expectations. And it's going to happen again. And get this. Your schedule's not too kind to you. You know who you play? You play Georgia. You play Missouri in Missouri. You play in South Carolina. You play Auburn, which you'll probably beat Auburn. But after watching Jackson Arnold play on Friday, he don't look bad, but you know what? Your schedule is not too kind. Oh, no. Now, Paul Feinbaum, the mouth of the South, listen, he's respected, I get it. Somebody said he was the new Mark May, which I was laughing. I was like, oh boy. But, listen, man. most of these Bama fans, listen, they've been loyal since Bear Bryant when he was great, okay? Then it got kind of quiet for them. And then Nick Saban comes along in 2007, and he retires in 23. So, 15, 16 years, they're feeling good. But now, they're in hibernation because they're finally realizing that Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. Now, I don't hear any more Roll Tides or Alabama from somebody who is not really a true Alabama fan. And everybody knows who I'm referring to. If not, well, yeah, Stephen A. Smith's not a real Alabama fan. He's not. I mean, in my opinion, he just watches Alabama for college football. That's it. All right, and I'm sorry, but when Alabama loses, it's great. Because they dominated so long, and now they're coming back down to earth. Welcome to the rest of college football fans of teams that don't live up or meet expectations. That, you've joined the club. So, get used to it. Because Kalen DeBoer ain't getting bought out for $70 million. Those days are done. And I don't know who you think you're going to get. Because Mike Norvell was a finalist for that job. He turned it down. And he beat you with Florida State. You weren't going to get Dan Lanning from Oregon. That wasn't going to happen. So, Kalen DeBoer, listen, he's a good coach, but there are legit concerns with them. I mean, 55 yards they rushed for on the opening drive, and then after that, they abandoned the run. I mean, Ty Simpson looked very uncomfortable. I didn't think he was really anything big time. I know people are going to be like, well, Rich, you had him as a third seed in your bracket. Yeah, because I thought they would get by Florida State. I thought they'd have a pretty decent chance because they pretty much beat Georgia. But this was before I watched Saturday. Now that I watch you guys Saturday, yo, somebody got to be like, we can't let this happen. But you know what? I'm glad it's happening because you guys need to be humbled for once. You've dominated college football for so long. New king on the block. Your days are over. Okay? You bandwagons need to go into hibernation. Because you're in danger of having, dare I say, a 7-5 season. And I'm telling you right now, you look at that schedule, it ain't favorable for you. You got Wisconsin in 2 weeks. You should beat them. If you lose to Wisconsin, oh man, I mean, forget the Chiefs bandwagons. I'll be all over you, Bama fans. No, I've waited a long time. Okay? You fucking fake fans, Stephen A. Smiths, get out. Get out. You never were real Bama fans. Get out. The real ones, listen, they'll tell you, we had it great. We had it great. But the fake ones, get the fuck out. Go into hibernation. Okay? Because you guys ain't doing much. It's week 1. I know people can say, well, calm down, Rich, it's week 1. No. Because if you let that happen, where Florida State became the big dog in their building and said, oh no, we are going to bully this team. And they bullied you up front. They manhandled you guys up front. And Alabama has Caden Proctor, a great tackle prospect in this draft. Ryan Williams, let's get his numbers. I mean, 5 catches for 30 yards? That doesn't seem like a game changer to me. But he got hit because the safeties were like, nah. He comes across the middle, bang. And he got hit to where he got out of the game. Hope he's good, by the way, because he's a big-time playmaker. But this is going to be a long year for you Bama fans. And about time you bandwagons get humbled. No more Roll Tide. No more Alabama. No. Get you fucking fake Stephen A. Smith fans out of here. Get them out. Because, nope. The real ones, you know. You had a great run. And don't even start. Oh, we need to get Nick Saban back. He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back. Get that thought out your brains. He ain't coming back. Nope. Because the very reason he left was because you see all these teams now with money? Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, LSU. Got money. You ain't got the money with them big boys. You're cooked. You're cooked. He left because he couldn't afford it. Recruits weren't coming strictly to pay him. They wanted money. Your reign of dominance was over the day he retired. And Saturday was the fork in the ground. Done. Done. You're maybe sitting at 7-5 at best. Let's get to LSU Clemson, because this, to me, I enjoyed watching this game. All right? Now, I had Cade Klubnik to win the Heisman. People are going to be like, Rich, Cade Klubnik didn't play well. You know what I'm actually going to say? I was shocked at how good LSU's defense was. I heard they spent $18 million in the transfer portal, which I don't know if I'm entirely accurate on that, but like LSU, I mean, I knew they were good, but I was like, well, Brian Kelly's usually not so good in openers. And it's in Clemson, and I'm like, oh man, Dabo and him. Well, Clemson's got arguably the three best players in Cade Klubnik and TJ Parker and Peter Woods. I'm like, I don't know about LSU's offensive line. Well, guess what? That question got put to rest, because I watched Garrett Nussmeier, and last year I wasn't really impressed by him. I was not. I thought he was good, but I didn't see anything transcendent. And I didn't really see anything transcendent last night. I saw him make good decisions. Well, Saturday night, I should say. I mean, he made good decisions. I thought he was smart with the ball. I thought he made some really nice plays. I thought the two guys that caught my eye, honestly, were Caden Durham and Aaron Anderson. Those two guys really stood out. That caught my attention. I was like, damn, that's some dudes on LSU. That's some dudes. I mean, Durham, I was watching him break tackles running through a very good Clemson front. Tom Allen's the DC. He was at Penn State last year. I was like, whoa. Brian Kelly going to the running game that he used to have in Notre Dame, that he was really good at. And Aaron Anderson and that big 6'7" tight end, Juwan Johnson, yeah. Oof. And they got, Barry and Brown, who's supposed to be lightning quick. I mean, listen, I can see why everybody wants to play with him in college football 26, granted, but, in real life, I mean, LSU got some dudes, man. Aaron Anderson and Caden Durham really caught my eye. I was like, okay, those are some dudes, man. So, LSU, give them credit. I mean, they won on the road. I mean, their defense held Clemson with a shutout in the second half. That's impressive. Really is. I think that, again, they deserve a lot of credit. They really do. And, again, I think that Mansour Delane, corner. I mean, they filled a lot of holes, and, for the one-time game, for the time being, it was very impressive. I mean, Brian Kelly, a much-needed win for this program, for him especially, because if he would have started out 0-1, that hot seat's only getting hot. It would have been flaming hot. Cool for now a little bit. I want to see them in 2 weeks when they play Florida, because that is going to be an interesting matchup. That defense against DJ Lagway and that offense against Florida, because I think, I had LSU beating Florida in that matchup. Florida got a brutal stretch too, so Florida's going to need it. I want to see them against Florida in 2 weeks. But LSU looked really impressive. I mean, defensively, they really did. I mean, and they've been a struggling point for Brian Kelly, and they got it answered. Now to Clemson. They couldn't run the ball. And Klubnik, he did okay, but he didn't wow me. Like, I thought a lot of the buzz and the hype was that he made a really strong push second half of the year. And I didn't watch Clemson much second half of the year. But when it comes to a team that is bigger physically than you, they, like the SEC, I mean, Dabo's 0-4 in his last 4 matchups against the SEC. LSU, Texas, Georgia, and South Carolina. Dabo, that ain't looking great. And then you kind of want to be a little light and then throw jabs at LSU and not give them credit. Dabo, you're one of the most respected coaches in the game. Don't be salty. Come on now. No. Dabo, you couldn't run the ball. You couldn't run the ball with him to alleviate pressure off Klubnik. You didn't help him out. Your defense held LSU to 17 points. And this is going to be the same question going back to Ohio State. If you were to tell me that I'd hold LSU to 17 points with those weapons on the outside and Durham at running back and Nussmeier, who potentially a Heisman Trophy winning candidate, to 17 points, oh yeah, we could score 20 plus with Cade Klubnik. Yeah. You scored 10. Shut out in the second half. You let them score 14. This is not a good sign. I mean, I think they're asking Cade Klubnik to do way too much. Now, Clemson will be fine. I think they'll get something answered. But come playoff time, to be a serious team where I'm saying, yeah, that can win the national championship, I may have to reconsider that thought. Because I thought, they would be able to be all right with those two guys up front. And they were quiet, Parker and Woods. They were quiet. All right? And they have a really good corner, too. Avion Terrell. Right? I mean, they didn't really turn it over. Right? So, again, they did not do much. Peter Woods had half a sack. TJ Parker, 1 pass deflection. Clemson has to figure out how they're going to be able to run the ball in between the tackles. Because you don't need it. If you can't run the ball and you make Cade go one-dimensional, you're going to be scratching clawing. Especially with how good the ACC looks. Miami, Notre Dame. Let's go to that game. I'm not going to lie to you. Carson Beck looked pretty solid. All right. Those young bucks at Miami that they got around him, right? I mean, Malachi Toney, dude, he had that one-hand catch and falling into the end zone. I was like, this guy, I mean, he's a thorn in the side, man. I mean, that dude, he's got some upside, man. I mean, he looked like a pretty solid replacement for Xavier Restrepo. But CJ Daniels looked pretty good too. I mean, that offense looked like it had answers. Mark Fletcher Jr., Charmar Brown had a touchdown run. I mean, Carson Beck did a good job managing the game. Here's the thing with Carson Beck. He is very good against teams that are either you should be, but when it's coming to an elite defensive mind, and when he gets pressured or frantic, he becomes a deer in headlights. And Notre Dame is a good defense, yes, but Georgia offensively, they had dudes, but he's just not a guy I trust with the game on the line. And I know people say, well, he did that against Notre Dame. Yeah, he did. But he didn't look good against Bama in the SEC Championship game in 23. And he didn't really wow me against Texas in the SEC Championship game before he got hurt. He really didn't. So, again, I want to say, again, I think he has a better supporting cast in Miami than he did at Georgia offensively right now. And we're judging off one game. But, listen, man, they did not do well at all with the fourth quarter. And this is Mario Cristobal's Achilles heel. Yeah, they scored a field goal to go up 3, and they got the key sack late with their pass rush, yes. But Mario Cristobal, and this is the one thing that I worry about with him, he worries me in games where it's close and you need him to execute and put his team in position to pull a game out. Now, their front four won the game, all right? Mesidor, Moton, okay. I know they got dudes. Miami has dudes. Blade Jr. had a tackle for loss, right? I mean, they got dudes. Okay, that Miami had 3 sacks. I mean, Reuben Baines Jr., he had a pick. I mean, that dude's a really good defensive end. Miami has playmakers up front, which, Cristobal built a physical team both on the line, offensive and defensive line, but I still don't trust them against the big teams. Now, Notre Dame is a big team. Brand-wise, they are. Talk to me when they play Louisville and they play Clemson. How they do. Because that's where I'm really judging them. And I want to see how Carson Beck does that. Because, they're good now. They should be a playoff team. But I've got serious concerns if Mario Cristobal can be the guy to take Miami back to what it is. I don't know if he can. I've got questions about that. He almost blew his game. Now to Notre Dame. They have some holes that need to be addressed. Now, the lucky part for them is they've got a bye this week, and then they got A&M at home. Texas A&M at home. CJ Carr, he got off slow. But once he rolled out left, man, and he made that throw on the run where I was like, okay, this kid's pretty good. And that second half, I mean, he scored 17 in the fourth, where Notre Dame looked like they got something going. And I thought, that second half is something you could build on if you're Notre Dame with him. I need to know this, though. Jeremiah Love had only 10 carries for 33 yards. And you're going to tell me he had only 14 touches as your best player. Jadarian Price, I like him. He's a good running back. Jeremiah Love had only 14 total touches against Miami. I got concerns about that. All right? I do. And Malachi Fields, he's a good receiver, right? I've got serious concerns with Notre Dame being able to be protecting CJ Carr. Can they win up front? And their defense, they got kind of torched a little bit in the secondary. They got torched. And I think they'll be better from this, but I did not like what I saw. The second half was a good building point, but you gave up big plays on Miami's, chance to, on the game-winning drive. And they got some dudes. Leonard Moore's supposed to be really good. Christian Gray, who's, made some strides, positively. But, again, I feel like Notre Dame, you're going to have to get some issues fixed because A&M's going to come down there, and they're going to want to be able to run the ball now. And you got to have an answer to stop the run, and you got to be able to dictate the game on your terms. Because you're in for a physical game in 2 weeks. You got to be ready to toughen up. And Jeremiah Love has to have more than 14 touches with the ball. And you got to get CJ Carr, When he got going, you got to build on that second half. All right? So, I'm confident Notre Dame can get it going. I expected them to lose against Miami, which happened. But not a very good sign for some things. And they can fix this. I mean, now, Notre Dame, Clemson, Texas, I trust that they can get things fixed. Alabama, no. There's a lot of problems, but I don't care. They deserve it. You Bama bandwagons finally got humbled. UNC TCU. How are you going to get blown out at home when you have Lawrence Taylor, Roy Williams, Michael Jordan was in there, MJ was in the house, you had Randy Moss, and you get the doors blown off you at home. TCU, let's start with them briefly. Josh Hoover, he made some pretty miraculous plays. Bud Clark had a really nice break on the ball and an out route that he scored. And then the 75-yard touchdown out of the locker room, that was all she wrote. TCU's going to be scoring a lot. Sonny Dykes, he must have had some pregame speech ready because he's like, we ain't having another first-year coach beat us in his debut. They learned from Deion Sanders. But they took over Chapel Hill. But Sonny Dykes, that team's going to be good. Definitely will be a bowl team. They could probably win 8 games. Big 12's wide open. But they embarrassed North Carolina. Now, let's go to UNC. Gio Lopez, I don't know what he is. I'm not going to beat up too much on him. I mean, I know they were trying to get him around. But here's the first thing I want to say to you guys. Do you guys see what I said about Bill Belichick all these years for the real Lounge Time faithful? Do you see now why I was frustrated with him and I wanted him out of New England? You see why now? See, you guys think I'm this idiot that talks with a talking head? Okay, now let me say this first. I'm going to veer off topic for a second. I watched a friend of mine stream last night. He shouted me out. He's like telling his fans, like, hey, if you want to listen to a sports podcast, go to Rich, because he's not like one of these people that's paid to say stupid shit. No, he tells the truth of it. I was like, damn, man. He's not even a sports guy. And he said that, bro. I was like, appreciate the love and support, man. I don't say this to be a talking head and go, oh, yeah, he's doing it for clicks. No. I know what my eyes have seen in the game. Did you know they didn't complete a pass for 2 hours and 8 minutes of real time? Did you know that? Are you kidding me, Bill? You see why? When are you people going to learn? And here's the thing. I know he has 40 to 70 new transfers. Oh, it takes time to develop a team. It's only one game. This is not the story. The story is, look at Bill Belichick's offensive track record in the years post Tom Brady. Look at it. That is astoundingly horrible. Here's who his offensive coordinators. See, I got a friend of mine who's going to laugh at this. I'm not going to shout him out. I'm trying to get him on the show. He laughed at this. Freddie Kitchens is your offensive coordinator. No, I'm not speaking stupid. No, this is true. Freddie Kitchens is your offensive coordinator. Mr. Were the days of unnamed sources and stuff like that kicking him out? Firing people for leaking information to unnamed sources? Remember that? Freddie Kitchens is your offensive coordinator. When I saw that, I'm like, oh man, here we go. I think it'll be asset offense. And next thing you know, they're scared to air it out deep. The opening drive, they threw a deep ball. I'm like, okay, Freddie. I'm like, okay, Bill. Have you finally got creative on offense? You finally sat out a year. You learned something new. Okay. And then you go back to run. Quarterback draw. And you don't do anything. And these short passes, I'm like, you still don't learn why you got fired. You still don't know why. And I love how, like, Michael Lombardi gets so critical of, like, GMs. And I know he's a very smart football guy. He is. But, I mean, you guys have to be more innovative on offense. Bill, you've got a rookie, you got a mobile quarterback for the first time since Cam Newton. I mean, you got to have some plays where you roll them out, get some creative innovation. I mean, Bill doesn't innovate. Bill doesn't believe in offensive innovation. He doesn't believe in getting creative. He doesn't believe in pizzazz. He doesn't believe in flashy plays. He believes in tortoises winning a race. He believes in snails that, try to win against a turtle. That's what Bill believes in. And I'm sitting there going, waiting for an offensive play call to make me go, okay, I turned the game off third quarter after that touchdown. I'm like, yep, I'm done. I don't even need to watch this game anymore. I'm like, this is bad. And all these Patriot fans are like, whoa, we need to stand together and root for Bill. Well, I mean, listen, I hope he does well, but that doesn't stop me from calling it like I see it. Listen, you know what's great about this show? I can call the games from my point of view the way I see it. Now, somewhere else, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name people. I wasn't allowed to do that. But the beauty of this show, I can call it like I see it. I can give my opinions the way I see it. I can tell you what my eyes see. Bill Belichick refuses to be innovative on offense. That's why you got fired in New England, Bill. That's why I thought you would take the year off and learn, and you watch teams like Detroit. You watch teams like Kansas City. You watch teams like Buffalo, Baltimore, the Eagles. The game is offensive oriented. It's innovation. You're not going to win being boring anymore. Those days are over. Get with the times, or guess what? You might as well just go back to, doing Omaha Productions. Go back to doing your little show that you did on YouTube, which, was interesting. That's where you're headed, Bill. You need to innovate with the times. College football, it's all about innovation on offense. You got to innovate. If you can't innovate, it's going to be tough to get people over there. It's going to be tough. All right? And you got to show like you're going to innovate something over there. You can't treat the first 4 games like it's preseason. Not in college football, especially if you want to be a playoff contender at some point. I don't think that's going to work. And this is why, again, I don't know what the identity of this team's going to be. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be run and play defense, but in college, it's not going to be that easy. You got to have the dudes to have that stuff, but you ain't got the dudes. I mean, I expect them to be maybe a bowl team, and I think they will be, but you can't have that with Michael Jordan, Roy Williams, Julius Peppers, Lawrence Taylor, and a lot of famous North Carolina alum. You can't have that happen. That's embarrassing. Chapel Bill era, not looking great. Now, has the game passed him by? I've said it before. I think it has. I need to see the day when I'm like, you know what? I might be wrong on this. I don't feel like I'm wrong. Just go back and look at his 5 years in New England. Or, 4 years without Brady in New England. And look at this season. Right now. He refuses to be innovative on offense. And that's the one thing that I think is going to hold him back. So that's college football week 1. That's it in the books. Let's go to Cowboys-Eagles because I'm going to make a pick on this game. I'm going to tell you exactly how I think this game is going to play out. And this will be the last thing that I talk about. Because I know you guys are tired of hearing me ramble. So, as I talked about last week, Micah Parsons gets traded. They get Kenny Clark. They get 2 first-round picks back from Green Bay from this year and in 26. Well, that will be in 27's draft. The Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer, if you remember his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, I think they're going to run the ball. If you also remember Brian Schottenheimer when he was the Jets offensive coordinator. They're going to run the ball, hope to play defense, and I think that that's the identity it looks like this team's going to be. And it seems like Jerry Jones believes in the idea that it's going to be about stopping the run. Well, Jerry, that may be true for 1 week, but what you going to do when you play the passing teams and you need to rush the passer? Who's your guy? You ain't got that guy, Jerry. I think that this game plays out in one of 2 outcomes. I think it's going to be the Eagles start out slow. The game is close, but eventually Jalen Hurts is going to have to win with his arm, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert, with A.J. Brown. With those guys, he's going to have to win throwing, and it's close. But Dak Prescott eventually will come up short. And I think that Dallas is going to have a decent time where Prescott's going to have to throw to CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, because they're not going to be able to run the ball on the Eagles. I'll tell you that right now. They're not going to be able to. All right? You see those young guys up front? Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean? They got those 2 guys. Yeah, you know CeeDee and Quinyon got beef. Oh, yeah, I do. So, one of 2 outcomes is going to happen tomorrow night. It's going to be, this game's close, but Jalen Hurts has to win throwing his arm. Or, it's going to be blowout city galore, where the Eagles just say, you know what? You may have gotten Kenny Clark, but we're going to pound the ball down your throat. We're going to open up the offense to where we're going to go at Trayvon Diggs. We're going to make Deron Bland gamble. We're going to hit him with a double move. Bang. Over the top. Touchdown. That's what we're going to do. And their defense is just going to absolutely smother Prescott and make him have a horrible... And it's going to be Jerry Jones where the angry mob's going to be after him. Because either the Eagles blow out Dallas, and it's just like week 17 where it was like 41-7, but it's not going to be that. It's going to be like, it's going to be like maybe 34-10, okay, 37-17, something like that. It's going to be that, or it's going to be close to where the Eagles start off slow, but then fourth quarter they're like, all right, turn it up in turbo mode and let's go. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. In the end, I think the Eagles win convincingly. I think the Eagles definitely get 27 points. I'm going to say Dallas scores 10 points. I just think that the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Barkley, I do think that they're not going to quite have the offensive explosion that they used to from building off last season. I think their defense will be good. They'll be younger. But I do think the only thing the Cowboys have going for them is that Dak Prescott has a good record within the NFC East. And there's no repeat champion since the 03-04 Eagles. But, again, I don't see the Cowboys playing close unless they can prevent Barkley from breaking the game open. And every time somebody's trying to do that, Saquon has a long run that goes. And I don't think Saquon's going to have that. He might have one, but sometimes all you need is one to break the game open. And it might be one that breaks the game open. But I'm going with the Eagles 27-10. I think Prescott throws 1 or 2 picks because I think Vic Fangio is going to, make him look absolutely confused. I think they're younger up front. I mean, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and yeah, they lost Milton Williams. I know, but they reload Howie Roseman and those guys. That secondary is going to have 2 guys that will go one-on-one with both Pickens and Lamb. All right. And then their linebackers, Bond. Don't think Trotter's starting, but the Eagles, they're going to be my pick contending in the NFC. I'm not saying they're my Super Bowl pick, but they're a top contender in a lot of people's minds. But I'm going Eagles 27, Cowboys 10. I don't know how the Cowboys are going to move the ball offensively. I don't know how it's going to happen. But I expect the Eagles to get 2 picks on Prescott, 1 or 2 sacks, shut down their running game, and force Prescott to win with Lamb and Pickens against the young corners Mitchell and DeJean. Anyway, guys, this has been my episode for Lounge Time. I will be back on Friday to break down Week 2 of college football and the rest of the NFL Week 1 slate. We will have guarantees. I'm going to debut my fantasy football roster. I picked my draft last Thursday. I'm going to have you guys grade my team. And also, Survivor picks are back. We are back on board the SS Saile, where we try to survive once again. And we're back on the Survivor picks. So I'm going to give you my top Survivor picks. So Friday, we got an exciting show. But before you guys get on out of here, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. So that way you guys can get all the latest news, updates. We just had a poll for the topic that you, the fans, got to vote on, that you wanted me to talk about. I honored my promise. Arch Manning won today. I let off the show with Arch Manning. If you guys want me to do more polls in the comments, I'll do more of them. And I'll get it out to you early so that way you guys can get it up. And that way, fresh off an NFL Sunday, you guys are like, Rich, hey, we need you to talk about this team. Feed it out. I got you. You can also follow me on Rumble. We had our episode with Uncle Al on Rumble. This episode will be going live on Rumble very shortly. So follow us on Rumble as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And I will be back on Friday to break down the rest of Week 1 and Week 2 of college football preview. Have a great night. Enjoy the kickoff game on Thursday. And I'll see you guys on Friday.